Welcome to another episode of Well-Adjusted Mama. This is a podcast dedicated to educating and empowering women from preconception, pregnancy, birth, and through early motherhood on wellness lifestyle. I'm your host, Dr. Laura Brayton. I'm a maternity pediatric chiropractor, a functional medicine practitioner, and mother who has hand-selected experts in natural holistic healthcare specialties to shine light on options and choices during this exciting phase of a woman's life. And today's episode is on the topic of creating ways to teach children about financial responsibility with my guest, ABBE LARGE. ABBE LARGE is the managing director at Lenox Advisors. She's a dedicated professional whose drive is to put her clients' best interests first. With nearly 30 years of experience, she is highly skilled in a variety of financial services, estate planning, and asset management solutions. With her corporate clients, she helps structure strategic employee benefits as well as executive carve-out programs. ABBE is a passionate advocate for families and individuals dealing with difficult financial realities. She personally navigated these same financial complexities when caring for her father through his battle with pancreatic cancer. ABBE faced the same challenges she regularly helps others overcome and gained a unique appreciation for the importance of being supported through these challenging times with grace and dignity. She believes that when money is removed from the equation, people can focus on what truly matters: love and family. ABBE's insightful empathy has made her a valuable resource to her clients in their times of need. ABBE was named on Forbes' top financial security professionals in 2024, 2023, and 2022. Prior to Lenox, she spent 11 years at Cowen Financial Group and studied journalism at Ohio University Scripps School of Journalism. In her free time, ABBE loves participating in outdoor activities such as paddleboarding, boating, and skiing, while also investing in her own health through good nutrition and exercise. Above all else, she values spending time with her husband and their 3 children and pup. With an unwavering commitment to both her profession and community alike, ABBE shines as an endlessly passionate individual who continuously works towards achieving greatness every day. Hi, ABBE. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you on today.
Hello. How are you?
Doing well. We're going to talk all things money. This is definitely one of my favorite topics, and I'm hearing it's one of yours as well.
My favorite topic. Isn't it everybody's favorite topic?
Yeah. I mean, good for worse or bad. Like it's a very charged topic in a lot of ways, right? It brings a lot of emotion, a lot of energy. So today we're going to talk about creative ways to teach children about financial responsibility. So I'd love for you to start off talking a little bit about who you are and how you became an expert in this area.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So who am I? I am a mother of 3 wonderful children, married together with my husband 31 years. We met at work, which is, there's no coincidence. I've been doing what I'm doing for 31 years. So I've been a financial planner for a long time, 3 decades. You're getting old when your clients are the second generation of the first generation. Like I'm speaking, and it's funny that you say that because speaking about money and the topic that we're going to be talking about, one of the things that I was thinking about this morning, because a very good client of mine that I've known for like 28 years, and her daughter, I knew her when she was 25 years old, and now I'm speaking to her daughter, and her daughter purchased a permanent policy. It's an investment, and she's making these financial decisions at such a young age, like an emerging affluent. She's, only 24 years old. And I was just so proud of that whole experience of having her, my client's daughter do something that her mom did so long ago with me. So that made me feel really good of the how responsible she was. It was just really a moment of, wow, maybe I had an effect on her mom to teach her to be that way and to be financially independent. And I think that's what I'm leaning into most, is teaching especially women how to be financially independent. So anyway, well, why am I an expert in this topic? Because I have many, many clients and they all have children, and I'm not shy about talking about it with them, because I think I think the relationship with money stems from childhood. And so I ask, my clients questions that are outside the box, like, what was your relationship with money growing up with your parents? Like, tell me about that. And so, you hear a lot of stories, and I've heard from the gamut. So I've heard everything. And so the experiences that I'm sharing with my clients are, how to navigate raising financially fit children right from the beginning, right from the moment they can talk. So yeah, and it's really fun, and it's especially when you're talking to the kids. This week I've spoken to three people from Generation 2 from my clients this week alone.
Who are now adults.
Yes, they're adulting.
Yeah, that's amazing. And obviously you want to start this conversation even, way before the kids are adults, right? So as you're talking to parents and you're meeting a new client and you're asking them about their childhood story and their relationship with money and what they learned from their parents, like, what if there's some blocks around that? Like during this conversation, you're hearing that they have this imprinting, these unconscious beliefs around money that may not be positive. How do you help them kind of become conscious of that and move forward?
So I think there's two questions in what you said. One was, from what age do you start with your kids in the home? And I think, I'm sorry, the second one was?
The second one is when you're talking to a client about how they were raised by their parents around money. Maybe they saw, I know I have my own story, right? Like my dad was very cheap and thrifty. My mom liked to spend a lot of money and would take me shopping, and we'd have to hide the clothes from dad. And, these weird things that even as like a 12-year-old, I'm like, this is weird kind of behavior around money. And, so like if you hear these stories from your clients, how do you help them move past that?
Well, first it's about recognizing it for what it is. In other words, I don't think a lot of people are getting the question, what was your relationship with money like growing up with your family?
But it's such an important one.
It's a very important one because you get, like I said, you get different answers, but the answers nonetheless are being said for the first time out loud to each other and to me. And it's extraordinary what happens when that gets released. And the other one is listening and learning about something that maybe they've never heard before. And so getting it out, I think, reduces its power somewhat.
Sure. Yeah, it becomes conscious too, right?
Yeah. And when people understand the why, they can change. It's never too late to change, in my opinion, but you need to understand the behavior first. And I think once that behavior is understood, seeking to understand that behavior makes you pivot to where you need to go to make those necessary changes. And what's good about doing it in front of me is that I can give them the tools and the advice to do that, to steer that in the right way. Especially now for your first question with regard to the kids, I started as early as, reading them books, right? Like you could buy children's books about money. I cannot remember the ones that and please don't ask what books. I'm sorry. You can certainly Google them on Amazon, but you just exposing them to in a fun way. I remember we would go to the diner and we would just play with the packets of packets of sugar, and like play math with the packets of sugar. And if I gave you, these two, how much would you give me for this? And we were it was like a lesson in economics, if you will, for a baby, for a toddler. And you can do those things. You can dummy down anything, right? You can take out a dollar bill and examine it and talk about it and just get used to talking about money. And the more you talk about it at the dinner table, the more comfortable your children are going to be around the discussions of money, as opposed to it being taboo. Oh no, because money makes people uncomfortable. Whether you have too much or too little, it's it doesn't matter. It's not the money itself. It's what it does to people that matters, right? So when you're discussing money as a thing, you can mold it any way you want, really, with your kid. So some of the things that I did with my children growing up, sorry, my dog wants to sit on my lap. Hello, you're making an appearance. Some of the things I did with my children growing up were, first of all, allowances, for example. Allowances, I felt very strongly about not tying allowance into love, chores, or good grades. I felt very strongly that children, when they're raised in a home, that's their first exposure to a community. And being part of a community means chipping in and doing your part. So picking up the dishes, making the bed, emptying out the dishwasher, doing your laundry. These are things that were expected because they were part of the community. You see, a sink of dirty dishes, put it in the dishwasher, wash them. Don't just look at it and expect someone else to do it. That was ingrained. Now, the allowance part is pure money. It's how do we take this paper and save it, invest it, spend it, or give it away? How do we do that? And so we had a little piggy bank that had these different slots. And we would discuss how much they wanted to save, how much. It was funny because I had twins and my son would save and my daughter would spend. So it was very funny to watch the two different personalities, but we would talk about it, right? Okay, if you want to spend, that's fine. But if you want to, if you want to buy something, you might not have the money, and you have to let them fail at all those things. They have to experience those things, because if they don't experience that bad decision that they made, they won't learn. People learn by experiencing things. So get it going early on so that it's really like bone deep to them, right? Now, when they were older, this was really fun. We always just, people go on family vacations. And there's a budget. And the parents are always the one that are researching and doing all the work and spending all the money. And the kids, universally, they don't appreciate it. They don't respect it. They don't understand it. So we decided, you know what? Here's your budget. Give us you're going to tell us where you guys would like to go, where the two of you would like to go. Sorry, I have 3 children. At that point, my youngest was very young. And the two of them were a lot of this 6-year difference. So it was really for my older kids, right?
How old were they when they were planning?
They were in high school.
Okay.
They were in high school. So I said, the two of you figure it out, give us a presentation, and, you're going to present it to us, show us the hotels, the flights, where you want to go, et cetera, the activities, everything, soup to nuts. Well, guess what? They learned to work together. They learned to communicate, to negotiate, to compromise. They learned what things cost and what they got out of it. They learned the value of the dollar, right? So and by the way, they made all the reservations, they made all the activities. I just showed up.
Wow.
And they were really into it. So here's the thing about that. I watch them now and they're adulting. I watch them, and my youngest, extremely and more independent than they ever were at that age. But now they're adulting, and they teach me some things about the credit cards and the what gives the most points and this, and they're constantly talking to each other about all of these things financially that they can get a handle on and get a grip on and do better with. And I am so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. So I think for your listeners who are, young parents, and it's never too early to start talking. Even if your spouse is uncomfortable with it, you got to start.
Sure. You just start the conversation. I want to go back to allowance. So when did you start giving an allowance to your kids? And I know you said it wasn't tied to anything. So was an allowance just like you're a member of our community, and then this is your weekly pay, so to speak, or?
No.
No.
The community is separate.
Okay.
So if they came home with a good grade, I would say I would give them love. I would hug them and tell them how proud I am of them. And I'd say, you must be so proud of yourself. Tell me about it. And that's it. That's what they get. They get acknowledgement. They get validation. They get love. They get pride. But when they clear off their dishes and they empty the garbage, or they take the garbage out and whatever they're doing, I say, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Because that's being part of the community, helping in, pitching in. But the money is completely separate.
So what does that look like? The money?
In terms of the money, you mean like how much and when?
Yeah, like the allowance and why. Like, why were they getting an allowance?
They were getting an allowance to understand how to handle money, how to spend money, how to save money, how to invest money, and how to give away money. They're learning that at a very early age. And they can learn it with as little as $5 a week. It doesn't matter. You can give, it doesn't matter. It's the concept of here is money, here is the dollar. What do you do with it? Right? And what you're teaching is you're teaching your children that money cannot buy love. It can't buy love. But it can change things. It can create things. It could make things easier. That's what you're teaching your children at such an early age. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. So my son's in first grade. We just started giving him an allowance. I was planning on $5 a week. He negotiated $1 a day, which I was actually quite impressed with. And what I'm realizing what we're not doing is we have this little bank that we put his money in and he counts it and he's, enjoys that. But we're not talking about these 4 divisions that you mentioned. We have the money in there and he's like, well, I want to buy this Lego set. And he has all these ideas of how he wants to spend his money. And he's not really understanding about the saving, the investing, and the donating part, right? We haven't really delved into that area so much. So I'd love for you to explain a little bit, because I think, for a lot of kids, spending is the easy part. They have lots of things they want to buy with their money, right?
Yeah. You may relate to this. So my children were bar and bat mitzvahed, but before and it's called a b'nai mitzvah, but because they're boy and girl, I have a boy-girl twin. And I didn't want to give them a b'nai mitzvah. I didn't want it because I am so turned off. And I'm sorry if I'm going to upset any of your listeners, but I'm so turned off to the fact that the kids don't understand, like they think it's just about the party. And it's not. It's so not, right? Like it's about giving back to your community and like stepping in and being that person, right? And so my husband is not Jewish, but I am, and we raised our children Jewish, and he was very proud that we're Jewish. So he really wanted to have a b'nai mitzvah. I'm like, okay, fine. If we're going to have a b'nai mitzvah, we're going to do it my way. Well, my way was handpicking a rabbi and a cantor and having them really understand the Torah portion and what it meant. And I never mentioned a party. And I said, you're going to get some monetary gifts. What do you think about donating it to a charity of your choice? And they were really into it. So my daughter chose the ASPCA and my son chose the Covenant House, which is, I don't know if you know that, Covenant House. Yeah, it's a home, it's a shelter for homeless kids. And they're extraordinary. I just gave a shout out to the Covenant House. But anyway, so we went into the city, New York City, and we went to the ASPCA. We spoke to the director. We met with them. We went to the Covenant House. We volunteered our time. We were standing in line, giving out food. Like we were in it. We were in the weeds, and my kids felt it. So when we were going, we were opening up their cards and their monetary gifts, they were excited about how much they were each getting because they wanted to see who could give the most. And then we went into the city and they handed this person the check themselves. So they physically understood what it was like to give and to make a difference in other people's lives. And they did that. And that, in my opinion, is the ultimate mitzvah, right? That's their mitzvah. And I felt that they really understood that and they got that. My youngest still has not decided. She has not decided where she is going to donate these dollars, but she is not using it for college education. She is not spending it. It's actually invested and it's earning some money. So she's going to be donating more money. But she's waiting to choose something that she's really passionate about, and she's going to make that donation. So that's how, you're teaching your children how to be stewards in life. And I remember speaking to a client who said, but I don't want to, I struggled as a kid and I struggled and I don't want my kids to struggle. And my retort was, well, how do you think you got to where you are?
Right. Exactly.
Don't rob your kids of that.
Yeah. You can't just spoon feed them, right?
There's a skinned knee.
Yeah. Yeah. There needs to be an understanding of the value and the, work that goes in. So these were gifts, but like, I'm sure they also have had jobs and, even as children, right? And they worked.
Well,
no. Okay.
Yes and no. I will say that I had a job since I was 14. I've been working since literally 14 years old. So I'm not ever afraid of work. But why is that? It's because I didn't have great coaches growing up. My parents they both worked. I was kind of like, a latchkey kid, right? My children, on the other hand, are gifted with brains and athleticism. So they were student athletes, and their jobs were to, being an athlete is a full-time job, but it taught them a lot of lessons that they would never learn in a classroom. Clearly, if they were off season, like the summers, they did get jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
They did get jobs. They did save. They definitely got jobs and saved. There was no just lying around doing nothing.
Right. They were busy.
They were busy with tournaments or whatever they were doing with their sport. And if not, they were working. So it taught them discipline. It taught them grit. And I do think you can teach grit. Most people don't, but I do. It taught them, teamwork and results. It just taught them a lot. So I don't think you should rob kids of anything that was tough for you growing up, because it made you who you are.
Yeah, I hear you. That's so true. So what about investing? How old were your kids when you taught them about how to invest the money that they've been saving so it could make more money?
Well, that's a great question. Of course, we did it in the beginning.
Like a college savings fund?
Yeah, 529 plan. We bought them permanent whole life policies, which they're now taking advantage of, which is amazing.
Oh, wow. Oh, you bought that for them as a child?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And my daughter is actually using it right now to supplement some of her, like she's dealing with rent and stuff. And I'm like, look, this is your policy. We bought this for you. This is the reason we bought it for you. You're not moving back home. If you need to supplement for a couple months, you can take the money from there. But if you want to put it back, you can. I mean, this is yours. Just educate them on how it works, and they're doing it. So that's been wonderful. Stocks and ETFs and all that stuff. They started that when they were 18. Or was it 18? No, they started that maybe it was out of college. They were 21 when they started that.
You said your youngest is investing right now.
Oh my God, my youngest, she's not investing per se, but she's in high school. So she's just doing the allowance thing right now.
Oh, I thought from her gifts that she had it invested.
She does, but okay. We're investing the money, not her.
Okay.
She's not licensed to do that. We do it. But it's funny. You just reminded me I should probably whip out all of those funds and show her
Yeah,
Thank
she
you for
can
the
learn
reminder.
at the age of high
Yeah, I'm going to
school.
write that down. Thank you. I'm definitely going to talk about that with her today.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's technically her money, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I think, what I'm learning is it's nice to see like when you're investing in stocks, like which ones are going to make a lot of money, but also it's about what you care about, like what businesses you want to support, right? What are you in alignment with? Like, I think that's important,
Yes.
right?
I had opened up an account for myself. It was a funny money account. And I just, we just were talking about businesses and companies that we can pick and choose stocks with. And so that's also something that you can do for the kids as well. It's open up, a little funny money, Fidelity or Charles Schwab or whatever. Just open up a little account and like have them research companies and choose
Disney.
them. Yeah. It could be fun. Don't make it too substantial, but hey, you never know. I mean, $20 every week. I mean, that adds up. It's called, what it teaches them is about compounding. It teaches them compounding, which is amazing. So that's obviously more advanced, but you can do that so early. You can do it as early as 5 years old.
Yeah, they like watching their money grow and make more money.
Yeah, they do. And they also will understand what it's like when it goes down. They'll get used to that feeling because it's an emotional feeling to watch it go down. So yeah, you start to see what their investment habits are like, and it's interesting, and it's interesting to them too.
And I'm assuming too, with those types of funds, you put the money in, you pick the stock, and then you kind of leave it alone. You're not like moving
Yeah,
it around too much.
no,
Yeah.
no. But it depends on what kind of investor, and you can talk to them about that. Like, you can be a passive investor, you can be a strategic investor. You can do this. I have I have a friend who's constantly looking at his portfolio. I mean, it's different. That's a personality type. But having said that, you start to, for children, I think starting that to develop that investment personality is kind of cool under your roof. Because at the end of the day, parents, you only have 18 years. That's it. You have an 18-year job. It's clearly you're going to be a parent for life, but you only have, they are minors until 18. After 18, they technically can do whatever they want. They technically fly the coop, leave, and go off to college a lot of the time. And that's it. Your job as, watching over them under one roof, it's done. So, buckle up.
I mean, you're going to have an empty nest soon, right? I mean,
I am.
that's got to have a lot of emotions with it.
None whatsoever. I'm thrilled.
That's an emotion.
You're right. It is an emotion. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm proud. She's independent. She is. We gave her that extra year, so she's an old junior in high school. So she's ready to go off to college now. Right? She drives. I mean, she basically, this is like an Airbnb. She's, she's got it. Remnants. I see every now and again that thank God she does her own laundry. I mean, really, she's just. Sometimes I'll see a Venmo credit for $6.43. I'm like, what is this for? Oh, I went over my allowance this week, so I owe you money.
Oh,
Isn't that cool?
that's cool.
I know.
That's impressive, actually.
Okay. Very trustworthy. Well, I'll give you a sentence that you should definitely get used to saying to your children, which is, your freedom is based on my trust. I don't trust you, no freedom. And my daughter likes freedom.
Yeah. So she's earned your trust.
Oh, she earns it all right. She tells me everything, and I trust her implicitly. And it is because of that. And it's cool because she'll come and she'll talk to me about a lot of things, and it's just because I know everything. Like, she trusts me. I trust her, and we thank each other for it. We're very grateful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful relationship to have with a teenager. Yeah.
I agree. That takes it takes work, but when the work works, it's magic.
Any tips of how you got to such a trusting relationship with your daughter?
Yes. Listen, validate, and own your own shit out loud. Laugh at yourself. Admit when you're wrong. Say you're sorry when you're really sorry. And that would be it.
Wow, that's powerful. I feel like that could be like one of those little books. All the life lessons that you need to learn.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's like it is really that simple, right? It's just really showing your child that you're a human as well, and that nobody's perfect. And I think also what I'm hearing from you is that presence, that you're really there, really present with your child, so that they can feel that they can trust you.
Yeah. It's a big thing in my house, trust. If you don't have trust, what do you have? So that's a big, big thing. And I think it should be a big thing in every household.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, Abby, we have to wrap up. Any last things you want to share? How can people get in touch with you?
Thank you. Yes, people can get in touch with me through my LinkedIn, or email is always very direct, ALarge@LenoxAdvisors.com. And that's LENOXADVISORS.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on the show today. I really enjoyed talking to you.
I enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Abby. Wow, what a powerhouse. She's filled with so much passion and enthusiasm around the topic of money and families and how it's, all connected, and really, I think, really separated a lot of the, stigma around wealth and money, and really how important it is to teach our children about money and financial responsibility starting at a very young age. So if you want to find more out about Abby and you want to connect with her, you can find her on LinkedIn, ABBE LARGE, that's ABBE LARGE, or you can also find her at LenoxAdvisors.com.